You have arrived to the Plunge Into Prosperity podcast, where sacred wisdom meets regenerative wealth. I'm your host, Brandi Kolosky of Sacral Capital. Now let's plunge in. Welcome back to Plunge Into Prosperity, episode 20, everyone. The podcast where we go deep on what it really means to build wealth, lead boldly, and define prosperity on your own terms. I am your host, Brandi Kolosky, founder and general partner of Sacral Capital, Sacral Sisters, and Sacral Fund. I am so glad you are all here. Today's guest has spent decades doing something most people never attempt once. She walks into broken institutions and turns them around. She has served as CEO of not one, not two, but three major organizations and led financial turnarounds at every single one of them. She ran Planned Parenthood Federation of America at one of the most turbulent moments in history, serving 5 million Americans a year with a $50 million budget. She led the National League for Nursing and grew it from 5.2 million to a revenue of 20 million in 6 years. Today, she leads Girls Inc. of New York City, where she is building what I believe is one of the most important pipelines in America right now, teaching the next generation of girls not just to dream boldly, but to manage money on their own financial futures and step into power. She's a registered nurse, holds a PhD from NYU, a fellow of the American Academy of Nursing, a fellow of the New York Academy of Medicine, and a former 8-year appointee to the New York City Board of Health. She is the author of Women's Health for Dummies, and her new book, Medicine in Search of a Soul, is challenging the very foundations of how we think about healing. She has appeared on Good Morning America, Dateline, and The Charlie Rose Show, and she has agreed to plunge into prosperity with us today. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Pamela Maraldo. Hi. How are you,
Lovely to be
Pamela?
here, Brandi. Lovely to be here.
Oh, thank you. For those that are new here, Pamela, tell them why they should keep listening to this particular episode of Plunge Into Prosperity.
Well, you talked about how many organizations I turned around, and I think about it, and I think the most important message there is that I was not a financial person. I'm not a financial person, and I never thought about finances first. I still don't. I think the most important thing about money and prosperity is your energy. I teach it now. We incorporated it. It's the foundation of the app that we're creating for Girls Inc. of New York City called Her Future. And we say to start off, think of money as your friend. And I have always been the kind of person that didn't have fears about money. I just always have faith in
Me too.
people. I had faith in what we could do and what we could build, and prosperity always came. Always. That's the
Yes.
most important thing.
This
I I am, as you said, a nurse with a PhD in psychology, essentially, psychosocial fields, and really never studied money. When I taught at Columbia, I took some advanced corporate finance courses because you have to know these things for credibility. But I never put money first, never. And but I was always aware of my energy, my effect on people. I thought I was a young, very young CEO, 35 years of age. And I thought to myself one day, Pam, it doesn't matter how smart you are or what you know to do. It matters if you can get the people that are here to be inspired to want to do at a high level what you need to do to affect your vision. It's really about your effect on people, how you motivate, how you inspire. And it's the same with money. You have to be aware of the energy that you're putting out into the world, because that's what you're going to get back.
That's why you're here on this episode and why we aligned, because of our energy, for sure. Yeah, I almost started crying
if
for good
you
tears because it was we're just so aligned. It's lovely.
you mean to tell me that you think you're aligned in terms of energy? or in terms of people?
Energy and thought process and people.
You know, Brandi, one of the stories that I love to tell is that, somehow I always landed on my feet where money's concerned. It's not anything I ever really focused on, but was aware of. And it all kind of continued to flow one day. But I wanted more of it one day. And I was thinking to myself as I passed JP Morgan, I was like aware that I wanted to walk on the other side of the street and not go too near it because I had sort of this aversion. As I analyzed what I was feeling, it was fear. I didn't want to look at my account. I wanted, it's like when you feel like you're gaining weight, you don't want to get on the scale. I didn't want to know, you know what I mean? So I would
What a great
unconsciously
analogy.
walk away on the other. It's a true story on the other side of the street. And then I caught myself
Yes.
one day and I said, "What is wrong with you?" And that's when I thought of this make money your friend thing. Think of the people at Chase as your friends. They're there to help you. They're there to, you know,
Mhm.
appreciate the business that you're giving the bank. They're here to appreciate you and help you
Mhm.
grow your wealth. And you know something? In a
Yes.
fairly short period of time, things started to change.
Yeah. In
So
some of my previous podcasts,
I'm a big believer.
mhm. We're lagging a little bit, but
Go
it's
ahead.
okay. In some of our previous podcasts, and then also because my grandmother put me in meditation school when I was 15, and then I just have always had this insight mindset, and then when you meditate 20 minutes a day for 90 days in a row, you remove the synapse that's associated with fear. Not remove it totally, but like not make it so strong. And I've always been teaching people for many, many years now, or preaching to them. Money is energy at the end of the day too, and it's just a currency. We
Exactly.
all provide each other service or guidance, and it comes back in the form of currency. You know, the current that we're exchanging of energy with each other. I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
You know
beautiful.
what? God bless
And
your
so,
grandmother because,
yes. We're having a
Mhm.
lag, so I will wait for you to respond.
No, I was just going to say, God bless your grandmother. Meditation changed my life. And, I didn't realize that most people weren't all that introspective. One day, a friend of mine on Wall Street who runs a hedge fund was having a bad time. And she said, your background is in psychology. What should I do? How can I get out of this? And I said, well, to start, you have to look within. You have to really be introspective and think about what you're feeling and why. And she started laughing hysterically. And I said, what did I say that was so funny? She said, I've been on Wall Street for 20 years and you want me to look within? you know, it was like the most absurd thing I could have said. But that's the only way to fly. People don't know that we are creators. You're creating, whether you're
Mhm,
doing it consciously or unconsciously, and you can create wealth, but you have to be mindful of what you're thinking and feeling on the subject.
mhm, mm.
And
You have
meditation
led 3
really,
major ins
gives you a tremendous foundation.
yeah, we're
Brandy?
having a lag again. No worries. Yes. Yep, we're having a
Okay.
lag. So, you have led 3 major institutions through financial turnaround.
Yes.
That is not a pattern
Yes.
most leaders ever experience once. Walk me through what you've learned about diagnosing an organization that's in trouble and what it actually takes to turn it around.
Yes. 99% of the time, and in the cases that of the organizations I led, it's about the leadership. And you really can't take your eye off the ball in terms of making sure that the goals are exciting and inspiring enough, making sure that people have the tools and the support to reach them, making sure that everybody stays on the same page. It'll never cease to amaze me, and I start off a lot of our donor meetings this way, that when you get a group of well-meaning people together on the same page with the same goals, solutions invariably emerge. Solutions that nobody would have thought of on their own because an energy aligns that really is magic, that really takes over, invokes higher energies, and solutions come. It's it sounds a little woo-woo, but it's my experience. So many times I'll get my senior team in a room together and we don't know how we're going to do make the budget, how we're going to do this, how we're going and by the time we emerge, everybody's enthused and we have a plan. And so, like I said, Brandi, what I know to do is work with people. And what I know to do is be authentic. I think organizations run into trouble because people at the top miscalculate. They don't include people. They become complacent. They don't understand how to build consensus to get everybody together and to motivate. At least that's what happened in the organizations that I ran. And also, if you're a leader, you can't be afraid to say, no, we can't do that right now. And this is why. So, like I say, you have to be authentic. You have to show up and do your part. But I think the vision thing is vital, and bringing the right people in the right positions is also another real key factor.
Agree. I agree with all of that. So at Girls Inc. of New York City, NYC, you're doing two things that I find deeply aligned with everything we talk about on this show. You're building mental health education into the school of curriculum through Mind Body Matters, and you're designing a financial literacy program for young girls. Tell me about that vision. What does financial power look like when you hand it to a 12-year-old?
It looks like making money your friend. It looks like energy. It looks like, you know, how money can help you um, realize your dreams. So a lot of the girls that we serve are from communities that are stressed economically, underserved communities. And when you come from a background of poverty, your relationship with money is going to be a little bit, love hate. And so we have to teach them how to get over their fears and anxieties about money. And so we really do help them create a mindset that, shall we say, is receptive to wealth. And that's where we start. We don't give them, the nuts and bolts of finance, but we help them to develop the right mindset. I think that for
Mhm.
Girls Inc. What we do at Girls Inc. of New York City is we've identified all the things that girls don't get in school, yet they need to grow up to be healthy, independent adults. I like to say we use the Denmark model. Denmark's got a world-class educational system. And what they do is their teachers major in students, not subjects. That's how we do it. They call it looping, but our teachers and facilitators get to know the students, their strengths and weaknesses, their aspirations and goals, and help support them in those, give them opportunities to, reach for the stars in terms of internships, mentorships, coaching, and so on and so forth. And financial literacy is something that, if you look at the studies, and Brandi, you probably know this from your own circles. Most women are really smart when it comes to money. They have to manage households on a shoestring. Professional women, learn to navigate that world too. But the thing that separates the fact that men do better at it than women is fear. They're a little skittish because they don't, see themselves in that role. They don't, not willing to step up to the plate. So they stand back a little bit. And we want to teach with the app, with our web-based program, teach these young women the skills, but to become fearless where money's concerned.
Mm, mhm. I was
It's
born in
not,
a trailer, and so I definitely was not
okay.
surrounded by, uber wealth, and my parents were the first to be
Wealth.
successful. So I watched them go from nothing to something. And so, my father became an entrepreneur when I was 14, and but he stayed with the same profession, and my mother kept the household organized but also worked, her 9 to 5. But we I watched my father build, a couple $1 million business. So to go from nothing to something, I was able to see that trajectory. They still had fears about money and keeping it, and not losing it, those types of structures, or we don't, that's too expensive right now. So I had to reprogram all of that afterwards.
Brandi, what do you think was the key to your parents' turnaround when it came to money and wealth? You watched it. What do you think made the
They
difference?
did
What made them succeed?
They did not want to experience the same lifestyle and households that they grew up in.
So it was hard work and a mindset,
Yeah, and it was not wanting to become what they were raised in.
motivation.
Mm,
They were motivated to have a different
yes,
life.
yes,
Yeah. Well,
yes, yes.
I think a lot of people are motivated, but fear trips them up, you know? Fear is greater
Mhm.
than their
Yep.
motivation. So whatever your parents did, good for them because they were able to overcome it, you know?
Very much so. I'm very grateful for
So, so
how they moved
I,
through life. Yeah.
I think you have to have a vision of yourself in, and I'm sure your parents did, in a lifestyle that's a lot better than where you are. You have to have a feeling that you deserve it, that you deserve it, you can do
Mhm.
better, and you're going to. And those are the people
Mhm.
that succeed. The people that when fear, and on the way up, no matter where you are, if you're a CEO, chairman of the board, the fear will come. And it's not that
Yes, it
that
will.
it won't, it's that it will. It's that you have to that's not the voice you should listen to. You should have faith, whether it's in God or the universe or yourself or whatever it is that you list. There are two voices, I like to say, two voices inside of you. One is the one that is, telling you, no, you can't, never, it's not going to happen. How could you do this? And the others say, yeah, go for it. You'll get there. Just go for it. Be resilient. Make sure you don't stop. Be persistent. That's the voice you listen to. And
Mhm.
that eventually
Very
will
much so.
overcome your fears.
Agree. Totally. You're such a great podcast guest because you keep nailing all my future possible questions or thoughts that I'm having while I'm waiting for you to go into. And you just really just led this very well, and it shows that why you are a current great leader and have been in the past. And I just want to say thank you. This conversation has been exactly what the show was built for, and you are living proof that leadership is not a title. It is a set of decisions made again and again to show up, to turn something around, to bet on the next generation, even when the system wasn't built for them. Thank you for your work you're doing at Girls Inc., for Medicine in Search of Soul, and so forth, and for choosing to plunge with us today. And Linda, for everyone listening here, where can they find you?
They can find me. My name is Pamela, and I am at Girls Inc. of New York City. They can find us on Instagram. They can find me on LinkedIn. They can find us on Facebook. We're all over the place.
Yes.
Dr. Pamela Maraldo. I would be delighted to help you get involved with us. We, I think it was Margaret Mead that said, never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has. That's our mantra. So hopefully some of the people listening today will join us, Brandi. Thank you for
Oh,
having me.
yes, we will definitely be collaborating on a Girls Inc. and Sacral Sisters event here soon
Good.
in New York City. I'm pushing for July, but I'll be most likely reaching out to have a little coffee with you here in the next week or two when I come up there. And so, to everyone listening, if today's episode moved you, share it, Send it to someone who leads, who heals, who just needs to hear that building something real is still possible. You can find me at sacralcapital.com and plungeintoprosperity.com. And if you're ready to be part of what we're building, I would love to connect with you directly also. Until next time, let's plunge and have a prosperous rest of your day, everyone. Thank you, Pamela. Thanks for plunging into sacred wisdom and regenerative wealth with us. If your soul and your portfolio just got a glow up, hit subscribe on YouTube, Amazon, Spotify, and Apple. Share it with your crew. Tag us on social and join the movement at plungeintoprosperity.com. I'm Brandi Kolosky. Catch you on the next plunge.